Welcome back. So we're going to continue from where we stopped in the last video, and in this video we are going to learn how to set tabs and indents. Okay, so you're going to learn how to work with your indents, and I really want you to pay rapt attention to this because you're going to be making use of this in many documents that you're going to be working on. And I'm going to start by showing you the first thing that I want you to learn. When you look at this document, I'm still using the document that we've been using. Okay, so if you look at the man is waiting for me, I'm sure in some thesis, which some people call project, you will notice that the first word of the paragraph is not always aligning with the margin like this. So they always shift it farther away from the margin. And it's always like this. Let me just show you. Can you see this? So it's always like this. So how do you do something like this? I'm going to undo it to come back. So how do you generate that? So for you to do this, there is a key on your keyboard called tab. Tab, T-A-B. So that's the key you're going to use to generate that space. Okay. So if you're there now, you're going to click at the beginning of that text, that is the beginning of the paragraph, and you're going to press that tab key. So once you press the tab key, you see what will happen. So as you can see, it has shifted it now to the right. So it's shifting it away from the left margin towards the right margin. Where is your left margin? This is your margin, this white space between your text and your paper. Can you see this particular space? So that's why you always have a space between the edge of your paper and your text. So that space between the edge of your paper and your text is called margin. Okay, so this is a margin. So this margin can be reduced and it can be increased. So if you reduce this margin, your text is going to shift towards your left. So it's going to come to somewhere around here if you keep reducing it to be shifting back, shifting back, shifting back, shifting back, shifting back. All right. So also you have your right margin here. This is the left margin. This is the right margin here, as you can see. And you have your top margin. Can you see your top margin? So also you have your bottom margin. But many times you may not see your bottom margin if you have not really filled up the page. So as you can see, this page has not been filled up. That doesn't mean that from here, the edge of the paper to this place is your margin. No, that's not so. All right. So we're going to get to the setting of margin. So you're going to see how you can do that. So, but I'm going to move on now because I just want you to know that you are shifting this first line away from the left margin. Okay, so that's how to achieve that. The second way of doing that, let me undo it. Okay, so how do you achieve this if you don't want to use that key on your keyboard? You don't want to use the tab key. So what you need to do simply is to click at the beginning of the paragraph. Don't forget that from here to here is a paragraph. Once you type text and you hit enter key, it means you are moving to another paragraph. So your enter key generates paragraphs for you. So you need to understand that. So every time you hit enter key, it means you want to move to another paragraph. So if you are not moving to another paragraph, keep typing. I've taught you what your wrap text does for you. All right? So as you're typing, it is by default. When you get to the end of the margin, it jumps to the next line automatically. I mean your insertion point. So you don't have to press enter key to move to the next line. So once you press enter key to move to the next line, it means you are moving to another paragraph, not another line. So as you can see now, this paragraph has 4 lines. But typing all these things, don't forget that we did not press enter key to come to make sure you arrive early to meet the man when we're done with just. No. The word automatically wraps the text to the next line once your insertion point gets to the end of the margin. So that's the way it works. But for us to come to this second paragraph, which has 2 lines, we had to press enter key at the end of this U. It means we want to move to another paragraph. So you must understand that. So let me take you back. So what I want us to do again is to learn how to push that first line away from the margin, all right, using your word application. So what do you do? Click at the beginning of the paragraph. Then the next thing you're going to do is to come to your home tab. Then you see the paragraph group. Can you see it here? So when you get there, there's a dialog box launcher, which is a paragraph settings. So click that settings. Then we're going to come here. So look at the paragraph dialog box now, where you can, adjust the settings and all that. This is where it is. So, but what we're dealing with is the indentation. That's what we've been trying to do. Okay? So when you shift your text away from the margin, it is called indentation. Alright? So the left margin is what we're dealing with. We want to shift the text away from the left margin. So we're going to use this. Can you see it? Left. So we're going to increase it. By default, your indent is always 0.5 inch. That's what I mean. Not 5. 0.5 inch. So it's always by default. But you can reduce or increase it depending on how you want the indent to look. So it's your choice. But by default, it's 0.5 inch. So which is, always very decent when you use it. Some people use ×2 of that for their indent. They use as much as 1.0 for their indent. But the most used indent is 0.5 inch. So you need to understand that. So as you can see, you have your preview here. Let me go back to 0. I want to be checking this space, preview. Can you see this space? Let's look at preview here. So how that text will appear, it will show you here. Look at this man is wasting. You see that the text on the document is what you're seeing here. So the paragraph in question is this particular one that you're seeing here, which is here now. So if I start increasing, look at it, you see that it's affecting the entire paragraph. Can you see that? But I want it to affect just the first line. So how do I do that? I will now come to special. Can you see the special section? So I'll click the drop down button. So I want it to affect only the first line. So if I click first line now, you will notice that only the first line is affected now. Can you see that? So now let's click OK. So it's going to shift the first line by 0.5. But the other left alignment will still be applied. Okay? So if you look at it, this is the beginning, this is the margin, It has shifted this one away from the margin by 0.5. Now it's shifting the first line away from the margin too by 0.5. So it means I don't need to use left alignment at all. All I need to do is to make this one to be 0. Then I come to special. Okay? So you come to special. Then you select your first line. Then you set your value to be 0.5 inch. Just like I told you, you can select any value you want depending on how wide you want the indent to be. So I think I'm okay with this. So if I say okay now, you will see what I'm going to have. Can you see that? The same thing you did with that tab button on your keyboard. So that's the way it is. Let's say you want to take it back. How do you return it? You can click on do, or you come back to your dialog box launcher for paragraph. Can you see? Then there now you can come back to this place. You select none. If you say none, look at it. It has returned. So if I say first line, it's going to affect it again. You can see that it has shifted it. So that's the way it works. I hope you got it. So that's that about the first line. So if you're not using first line, if you say none and you are selecting the left margin, it's going to affect the entire paragraph to shift everything together. Let me show you now. 0.5. Let me say okay. Can you see that? So that is exactly what this will do. Sorry, this one. So increase indent will move your paragraph far away from the margin. You can see the direction of the arrow is going to be moving it away from the margin. The other one is reducing. You see, it decreases the indent. It's moving towards your left, taking it back to the margin. It's moving it closer to the margin. So these two either moves your paragraph, close to the margin, or moves it away from the margin. So you need to understand that. So it's the entire paragraph that these two will affect, not the line. So if you want it to affect only the line, what you're going to do is to go to, that is the first line, you go to your dialog box launcher, then you come to special section, and you have to turn this one back to 0. Then you come to first line, then you set your value. Then the next thing, if you look at the preview now, you see it there. Then you say okay, and you're going to have this. So that's how it's been done. So I'm sure you've learned something from there. So you now know how to use your indent. Okay, you know how to use your indent now. So you can see it's not something difficult at all. Okay, so if I want to shift this, let's say the second one now, you can practice it now. I don't have to even select it. Once I click within the paragraph, it's going to start moving it because I'm still within that paragraph. Can you see it? See, as I'm clicking. So because I'm shifting it to the right, I'm moving it away from the margin. This is the left margin that I'm moving it away from. So if I want to take it back, that is moving it closer to the margin, I have to start clicking it back, as you can see now. So we're back. So when you get to the end, it won't respond again. So I think you now know how to set your indents. So and it's very, very simple. Just come to your dialog box launcher, and you're going to see it right here. So it's nothing to to worry about at all. So I hope you've learned something there. So this is where we're going to stop in this video. We're going to move to the next item on the list. See you in the next video. Thank you.